Hey everybody, it's Tim Baldermann and welcome to this edition of Too Honest for Social Media, where we talk about issues that affect us at the local, county, state, federal level. Joining me today are a couple of great guests from the new Lenox Park District. We're really excited to have Greg and Leah with us. Greg, why don't you introduce yourself to everybody?
Well, I'm Greg Lewis. I'm the Executive Director of the new Lenox Park District. I've been there, it's going to be 37 years next July. I started as a supervisor in the recreation program and kind of worked my way up. I've been kind of known to be the problem solver, so kind of got thrown into every fire along the way. So there's really not a job that I haven't done at the Park District, which really helps me in the capacity I've been in for 22 years now, I think it is, as the Executive Director.
Well, that's great. So 37 years with the Park District. You grew up in the area?
Grew up in Peatone. I don't talk about anybody because between Peatone, New Lenox, Manhattan, I'm related to everybody.
That's how it worked out.
Yeah, I learned that early on, so I know the area really well. I'm an Illinois State graduate, so I'm passionate about Redbirds. But actually, this whole area is just it's home to me. So yeah. I came back. So.
Oh, that's great. Oh, good. Good to have you. Leah, go ahead. Introduce yourself to everyone.
Hello, I'm Leah Pipiras. I'm the Associate Executive Director. I became the Associate Executive Director last May. I've been with the Park District for 22 years. I started out as the part-time basketball coordinator, which you were one of my coaches at the time.
Yes.
So it's been a long time and pretty much same thing. Kind of learned everything at the Park District and worked my way up, and I'm where I'm at. So I've been in the administration role in the last 10 years.
Wow, that's great. That's great. And I know you were super excited to be doing this podcast here today. You are a natural in front of the camera.
Thank you, but you know that's a lie.
I will tell you, yes, I did coach a lot of the Park District sports. I remember coaching basketball, and nobody wanted the girls on their team. It was co-ed basketball. So there were 4 girls in the program at the time. I took all 4.
Yes, you did.
And we went undefeated. And the closest game I think we had, we won by like 12 points. So, and those girls went on to be great athletes.
Yes.
And they really did amazing stuff. So
yes, and we did end up having a girls' league. So the following year.
Because of my coaching
Of
ability?
Of course.
There you go. See? I took the championship. I took 4 girls that nobody wanted. And I said, look, I could tell that they're athletes, and they were phenomenal.
Yes.
They were really, really good.
Yep. And only makes them stronger.
Absolutely. No, they were great. Well, thank you both for being here. Let's talk a little bit about the Park District. Here in New Lenox, like a lot of the other governing bodies, the Park District is a separate entity from the village. Mm-hmm. That's not always the case in every town. But here, our village was incorporated in 1946, and the Park District was established when, Greg?
1969.
1969.
Yes, and it's a township park district, so so we encompass the entire, village and township. With that being said, it's not cut and dry because we've got residents that are Joliet, Mokina, Homer Glen. I even think at one point there was Lockport addresses that are all New Lenox residents for the Park District.
That's right. As a matter of fact, that's right. So Prairie Ridge had a Lockport address for the longest time, even though it's in the village of New Lenox. So it's in the village of New Lenox. It's got New Lenox Park District. It's got Homer and Lockport schools. Yeah. So that's something that a lot of people don't understand. Our boundary lines are different between municipalities and park districts and school districts and fire protection districts. So yeah, you represent a lot of people.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny because I learned really quick going down Gauger Road that at the time when I started, there was a residency rule for anybody in Joliet. So down Gauger Road in the townhomes and the houses were tons of Joliet policemen, firemen, because they were in Joliet, but yet they were in New Lenox schools, New Lenox Park District. So I think that says a lot about the structure here in New Lenox.
Well, you're absolutely right. And as I'm sure you know, even over in the new Fairfield subdivision, that was sold as New Lenox Schools. And K through 8, it is New Lenox School District, but then it goes off to Joliet for high school. And that's why there's been this decades-long pending lawsuit about moving the kids. But yeah, so it's really something that we wouldn't expect people to know. You just assume it's the New Lenox Park District that serves New Lenox, but those boundary lines are completely different.
Yep.
So tell me, I asked this question, what did this area do for parks? What did New Lenox people do for parks between 1946 when we were incorporated and 1969 when you were established?
Yeah. So the only thing that I can think of is that it was the forest preserves, to be honest with you, because once we got established, there was a little blue house next to the library on Cedar Road, which is now, the library is now the P. Mackey Center, and the little blue house is now gone. That's Lionsden Park. But for the longest time, that little blue building was basically the office for the park district, maintenance and operation. And then over the years, it became storage for athletic associations, and then we turned it into
Our recreation department.
offices. Leah's first office in the park district was in a room in an old house. So we just kept redoing it to the point that it needed to be torn down.
Sure.
So there's pictures with an old Ford pickup truck, a red Yazoo lawnmower, which was a zero-turn mower, and a trailer in that house, and that was the start to everything. And a lot of that had to do with Papa Shaper and Mustang football. So because the field there in the back was developed by the Mustangs, and that's where the Mustangs played football, so that became the first complex that there was no way there was enough parking or anything else. But we all know Papa Shaper. Light poles just kind of fell off trucks, lights went up, and all of a sudden he just made it happen. So, and that was the start, that in Haynes Park. Those are the two oldest, and then we got into, I'm going to say 8 years later maybe, the Lions Club, which has always been instrumental in the development of the park district, built a building by grabbing 4 units from Joliet Junior College and putting them together. That's the crazy design there at the community center, and built it and then turned it over to the park district for $1 and a long-term lease that they'd have space for their meetings. So that became the office then, and then that became I think that was the second or third park. I don't know the order of Haynes and Greenbrier Park, which is now Firefighters Park. So Lions Den, Greenbrier, and Haynes were the first 3 parks here in New Lenox.
So prior to that, there are no parks, and kids just had to go off to the forest preserve or something.
Cornfields.
Yeah,
Cornfields
as
to
far as I
play.
know,
Yeah. And well, I'm a little older than you two. I was born in 1966, but and I did not live out here. But I had a park to go to as a kid, but it was on the south side, of Chicago, just at Southwest Highway in Crawford. But that's interesting to think that it wasn't that long ago that there was really nothing for these kids to do other than to make their own fun. And now you have how many parks?
41.
41 parks.
Parks and athletic sites, yeah.
That's crazy. So you're more than parks. You do so much more than parks. Leah, talk a little bit about some of the other services that the Park District provides other than building and maintaining parks. What else are you doing for our area?
So our recreation programs, we cater to birth to active adults is what we call them. So we have preschool, we have mom and tots classes. We don't just do basketball and flag football, which most people think, but we have coloring club for our active adults. We have some exercises classes. One of our biggest programs, which we partnered with the School District 122, is called ACES. So we have over 1,000 people attend per year. Well, I shouldn't say that. We have more than 500 participants, but with the time that they go between AM and PM, it's over 1,000 hours per year. So that's one of the biggest programs that we have. We are located at the schools. We have a great relationship with District 122. The families feel that it's very safe because it's right at the school. What else can I say?
Well, you talk about that preschool program, because
Yes.
I'm going to tell you something. It was, I don't know how many years ago, when somebody, I don't know what I was doing. I go out walking now at 4:30 in the morning, but I used to go walking at 3 o'clock in the morning, and I walk in different neighborhoods, and people were outside lined up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I thought, what the hell are these people doing out here?
Yeah, it's a lottery.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I started getting phone calls. Hey, Mayor, can you help get me into the preschool program? That's insane.
Yes. So we have over 200 children, 3 and 4-year-olds in the Kitty Campus. We work very closely, again, with the school district. For the longest time, our preschool were the only ones who really contacted and went to different classes through 122. We work closely if there's kids who, we feel like they need special needs. We call 122. They walk us, through everything. So just because they start it at our program, they might not end there. But again, we work with 122. We work with Lincoln Way Special Rec so closely, with children with disabilities. So we have a lot of great partnerships.
Yeah,
really,
that's
a lot
phenomenal.
of great partnerships.
But I mean, that was really an eye opener
Yes.
for me, seeing those people out there that early in the morning. It speaks volumes about what you do.
Yes,
And
great
if-
teachers. Great
yeah.
teachers.
Yeah, but you do. I'm a little disappointed you were dismissive of the flag football and the basketball because I coached those things.
We're a sports town. Everybody knows
Yeah,
New
we're a
Lenox
sports
is
town.
a sports town.
That's right. I wasn't good enough to coach Mustang football or anything. I had to do flag football, but we also went undefeated in my flag
Of
football.
course
'cause,
you did, right?
I don't think they kept score, but in my mind we were undefeated. But you rely on community members. I was one of
Yes.
those. That's how I got
Yes.
started
Yes.
here in New Lenox 31 years ago was
Yes.
doing this. So talk about your
So,
volunteer program.
so our volunteer programs is for the recreation. We have coaches, and again, we could not do flag football. We could not do basketball without having these volunteers. So throughout the year, we probably have about 42 in basketball, and we probably have about 40 to 45 in flag football. These are parents who step up to coach their kids. A lot of them are very nervous in the beginning, and we're like, it's not that hard. We do really stress this is recreation. We want everybody to have a good time. Our biggest thing with all of our programs, it's a fundamental. It's like the first step to, them learning and loving the sports. So with great coaches and great volunteers, we ask people to work in our concession stands because, again, we can't provide all these services without the volunteers. I know we have volunteers at the golf course. So we do have tons and tons of volunteers. And again, we can't do half of our programs without them. So we are always very grateful for them.
Yeah, it's amazing to see these people step up like that to take care of the kids in the community, not only their own, but so many
Yes.
others. But you do employ a lot of local kids and local people as well. So talk about that and, these kids getting maybe sometimes their first jobs and what they're doing for you.
Yeah, there's actually national studies and state studies out now, too, that your park districts, but we're the poster child for it. I mean, we're their first employment job. And in some cases, we're the first time they even come and interview. And maybe that interview doesn't go well and they don't get hired, or sometimes they'll come back and we do, I just forgot it, when you're 15 years old. So
Workers
The
permit.
work permit
work
from the school,
permits
yeah.
too. So we get kids early and try to get them in there. And the last opening that we've got now, we've got somebody that was a part-time employee, went out, got their degree, came back trying to get a full-time job with us. So it just cycles back through, and that's probably one of the biggest things that the reason that we do what we do, because even once we get into the sports complex, is that everybody, I mean, the Lincoln Way area here, we're all kind of a little different because it doesn't matter if you're in New Lenox or not. When you're in Lincoln Way, you think that you're a resident. We
Right.
deal with that.
Right.
But we put our own people to work, and they're if everything's equal, they get the job. And I think that's really important.
That's really important. Yeah.
So.
No, I agree with you. And again, obviously we love New Lenox, want to take care of New Lenox, but the Lincoln Way area is really unique and special. Yeah. And we talk about that frequently,
Yes.
that, we want New Lenox to thrive and be successful. But if something isn't going to happen here, we want it to happen in Mokina or Frankfurt or Manhattan, our neighbors. Same thing goes for the kids. So you're grilling kids in the interview or bouncing kids that are 15 years old. They're not. They're flubbing the interview. They can't get hired at the concession stand.
It can be anybody.
Well, he's a real ball breaker. This guy, right? Poor kid comes in probably in a Sunday best.
Me.
Oh, Mr. Lewis, I want to serve nachos at the concession stand.
You haven't seen Leah in action.
Is that right?
Well, I don't know.
You the tough one?
We might have had a few people that didn't come in their Sunday best, so maybe that's
So
why
that's
they
what
didn't
happened?
hire.
Okay, they didn't understand the concept of the interview.
But no, I mean, we are very excited when we have the kids because, like Greg was saying, a lot of times, especially we have a huge summer camp, a lot of times we hire these kids at 15, and if we can keep them till they're adults, till 2022, it's great. We have them for 7 years. They come back every single summer with us, and then a lot of times they move on. They might become a teacher, but it's great. We are the stepping stone, and we lose a lot of good staff because we train them very, very well. We just lost one of our supervisors because she got trained so well, and we wish them well, but it's just one of those things.
Our thing with our tax rate, we can't keep up with the pay all the time. But the other nice thing about it is not just 15-year-olds. So cycle all the way through. Our golf course is a prime example. Is we've got retired individuals that come back and want to work part-time, or they just want to get away from the wife or the husband or whatever. And they
That's
do.
some hate mail right there.
Right. Well, and the other thing is
that was Greg Lewis, executive director.
They get to golf. But in reality, that's a really strong workforce that we saw through COVID when nobody else wanted to work. Here's the people coming back that were hard workers, retired, and said, hey, I need to do something. You got a job for me. So we hit the whole gamut. So I guess what I'm trying to say is we start them young and we go all the way, and we're anything in between, but we ask you to do the job.
Well, you do, and they have to do it well. And you talk about, sometimes they hit 22 and kind of age out. But as you know, at my other job, I've got a teacher that's been working for you forever.
Yes.
She's a great teacher, but she loves working for the park district.
Shout out to Abby because we love her.
Yeah, that's our girl. That's our girl, Steele. We love you, Steele. She's, and I'm going to tell you how dedicated she doesn't even know I'm going to tell you this, but she went on a vacation with her mother not that long ago and actually left the vacation early because she was working a concession stand at movie night.
Nice. Yes.
Movie night.
Yes.
That kid left her vacation early so she could work the concession at movie night.
We need more Abbeys. That's for sure.
That's right.
Yes,
we need more Abbeys. All right. Well, you brought up a couple of things we want to talk about. One of them, of course, is our partnership with the Park District at the sports complex. And I will go back again, as you'll remember, Greg, when I was the president of the 122 school board back in 2005, 2000 through 2007. That's when we started saying, okay, you use our gyms, you cut our grass. I mean, it was really the start of a great partnership there. And we talked about it at the State of the Community not that long ago. Yep. The partnerships in this town are really unique. And you said at that State of the Community that you talk to a lot of people in other towns that do what you do, and they just don't have it, huh?
No. And I'll be honest with you, it's been an education process here too, because I'll go back to Dr. Sass, and he would call me up and say, Greg, why do we want to do this? Why do we want soccer on our property doing this? And I go, well, it's all our people, Mike.
Right.
It's all our people. So they don't care who owns it.
Right.
They just want to use it, so that's what we got to all remember. I remember after we did the grass thing made sense. I had to give a presentation with somebody that was even worse going in front of a mic, was Sue Kuzmick, about taking over the before and after school because there was an outside group that they were paying to do it. And I'm like, well, this is your people.
Right.
They're our kids. We're the Park District. We can do this, and it can be affordable. And we'll do we'll do a better job. You know me. And we did. It went from 100 to.
No, it was like 26 to over 500.
Yeah.
26 kids to over 500.
But I had to make a sales pitch that we can do this.
Yes.
Well, and I'm going to tell you, you and I have been working together. We said for over 20 years because I was a trustee prior to that for 4 years here, and I worked really closely with Ray Staywick because there were a lot of tensions between the Park District and the village back then, but we were able to smooth those things over, and it worked well. But you talk about that education. I have the greatest confidence in the Park District. we've partnered on this sports complex, and it came together real quickly. And you really, you really lobbied, and Leah was pushing really hard too. I said, do we want to run this, or do we want the park district to run it? And you said the same thing. Hey, we have the experience. Let us run it. And we did have confidence in you. And we said, okay, Park District, you can run it. But I will tell you, because the opening got on us so quickly, my biggest concern was, and because you didn't have a lot of time to get your people in there trained, were we going to be there? But I showed up before the complex opened and walked into the beer garden where you were doing some training with people. And the sea of young people that were there, I said, okay, Park District's got this. You got it under control, and you were able to hire so many local, mostly younger people.
Yes, we hired 70 just for the sports complex this
70
summer.
70 just for the sports complex.
Our business services wasn't too happy with us, but we got through it.
And some are still with us, some are not.
Yes.
But that's fine because, and we had a range, but mostly young. But you saw Providence, you saw Lincoln Way West, Lincoln Way Central, Lockport. I mean, we had a
Lockport, Joliet,
variety.
Lamont.
You didn't see Lincoln Way North.
No.
You know what? I'm going to keep breaking balls on that because I had mine broken for so long that was somehow my fault, which of course it was not. Yeah. But anyhow, you really did. And I loved seeing those kids there ready to work, eager to work, close to home, because sports facilities, who, as you know, we're consultants with, they were willing to run that. Yep. But we knew this was owned by the village, and we wanted to make sure that customer service is critical.
Yep.
And even in my dealings with 5 kids that have played sports through the Park District, I have grandkids that are playing in the Park District programs all the time. Even going up to the concession stands, your kids have always been polite and provided great service and really were a great image for the Park District. And I said, that's what we need. Because when we toured other facilities, we didn't see that. And that's just as important as the fields being manicured and ready to play on.
Well, that'll feed right back into the golf course. So I had already gone through experience because when I became the director, I had such a mess to clean up that the Park District budget and operation and building parks was far more important than the mess we had at the golf course. So at the time, the board brought on a management company, and we handpicked them, and it was one of the companies that we could kind of basically say, you're going to do it this way, because most management companies are going to say, we're going to collect this, and you're going to do it our way. There's no in between. Park District, you get out of here or whatever. And I kind of think that's what sports facility would have done there too. We know better than all you guys. We're running it. We got it, whatever. But we kept them for 7 years. I always said we're going to bring it back in-house. Once we got everything else back in track, we brought it back in-house. And now I'll put the Sanctuary Golf Course against any private municipal course out there as far as the customer service, the product, and everything.
Absolutely. I'm not a good golfer. You and I have golfed together, but I've golfed in enough places that I can speak to that too. And Bob Schulz and that team over there, they're just first class. They really make you feel important. And even when you talk about the starters who aren't necessarily getting paid, but they get to play golf, they're really very professional and put a great face on for the Park District and the village as well.
But I think those lessons there showed me that if you invest in the people and the people are from your community, they're more invested. They're going to take more pride in what. And we're going to go through some bumps everywhere. We're going to have some, I'm going to say, bad apples, but we're going to fix that. And there's nothing you can do with it because it really gets down to the three of us. We trust each other. We know our work ethic. You got to take a leap of faith and believe in other people because the three of us can't do it all. And we've all got great staffs and great people behind us, great board members behind us. But let's face it, it takes an army to do what we're doing.
That's right. That's right. And like I said, the amount of people that you hired for this sports complex alone, and we're continuing to grow with the inside, we're going to need more people. But And I don't want to gloss over that, because that's a major investment for our community. And we've had, despite being a first year and opening quickly, we had a successful first year. Like you said, we're working on it to make sure it's more successful. But it would have been impossible, and I mean impossible, for us to have that success without the Park District. So your partnership is just, we're so grateful for it. It's done a
Thank
lot
you.
for us. No, we really appreciate
The
that.
opportunities, like I said, nobody else can figure this out. Nobody else gets this, and I don't care.
And we're not perfect, and
Yeah.
we knew that going in. There was going to be hiccups, and there's going to be people from the community upset because, they might have waited, 20 minutes for a hot dog. But we know it, we acknowledge it, we'll fix it. We only get better. And that goes with everything in the Park District. If you see something out there, please call us. Call our number. Let us know. My biggest thing is, please stay off of social media. Just call, and we will call you back.
Yep.
The reality is, and we know this, because we have board meetings and we read social media, the bullshit that it is. It's so few people. It's usually the same contingent of whiners that just, I don't know if they just need attention, if mommy didn't love them enough, I don't know what it is, but they take to social media, and half the time they don't even know what the hell they're talking about. But you're right. There are always going to be things that don't go according to plan. But if you own it and you fix it,
Correct.
that's all that can be expected of you.
Yes.
And you guys do that. We try to do that here at the village. The schools do that. When you're taking care of thousands and thousands of people and millions of dollars in budgets and equipment and what, things are not always going to go according to plan.
Correct.
Well, and people got to realize too, we're very transparent, but we're bound by state or federal law. So, like, I'm going to use the budget and appropriation process. You're going to see a big percentage, and it looks like we're getting this huge amount of money, new money coming in, and it equates to $50,000 or $100,000
Right.
on a $14 million budget. It's nothing.
Right.
But legally, that's how it has to be presented. We don't have a choice.
Right.
But we'll sit and explain it if you come in and ask. But if you don't ask, I can't do anything about it.
Well, that's right. And there's always board meetings. They're public. People can watch them if they can't attend. The information's out there. The websites are up to date with all that information. So talk about that. We talked about the tax bill. We talked about the property tax bill quite a bit on a number of podcasts, and how it's broken down between, the village and the library and the fire protection, the park district, township, that sort of thing. Talk about your tax rate and how it compares to other communities' tax rates, and what you're providing here for that.
I don't even know where to start. We are so below everybody else as far as in the park district world or municipal world. Typically, I'm going to say you're probably 50-50 as far as like your tax levy and your services, so your fees and charges all combined to cover your costs. 70% of our budget is made up with fees and charges because our tax rate is so low.
You're getting very little on the dollar.
Very little.
Yeah.
So we found other ways. We go after grant money. We are very frugal, but it's our fees and charges. And even with that being said, we are still affordable. We really try to make sure that
Yes.
our programs, even our golf, our residents are a resident rate, and even our out of district it's higher, but it's still very reasonable as far as that market goes. So that's the best we can do, because the thing is that we have to take care of our facilities.
Right.
So I think we do a great job with that. I think we're very fair with what we do with our employees and staffing and our staffing levels to keep the budget in the black all the time. But like Leah says, we train a lot of really good employees, and unfortunately we lose them to somebody else that's going to pay them more. And
Right.
I can't do anything about it. We've done the work we've done with the village in the last couple of years. We've redone our structure. We've done the best we can to continue to elevate that, and we're lean and mean, I guess is what I say. There's no fluff with the park district as far as extra positions or anything else. So in some cases maybe we cut it too close, but we don't have a choice. We got to live within our means.
You do. Now talk about parks when they're how a park site is selected, what happens through the development process. Explain to people, how that works.
Yeah. Well, we're really fortunate here, and here again, in 37 years, it's been a growth and learning process from the village staff and the park district staff, and even the developers. So other than grant money and tax money, there's no other money that we get to develop. So the board has always looked at or took a position that we build parks with the developer donation money. So with the village's ordinance, we're one piece of it, and we can take all cash from a development, we can take all land, or we take a combination of cash and land. Historically, we kind of go 50-50 because my approach has always been we need some money to match the grants or some money to build the property, and then we need the property, of course, because once the property's gone, it's gone.
Right.
So that's tough, too, because in reality, you want a 5-acre to 20-acre park site. You don't want, I think we've got one tot lot in the town. Mm-hmm. It kind of serves its purpose, but it doesn't. Right. I mean, because here again, we have to go mobile to maintain it. So that means trucks and trailers, or we contract a company. So ideally, you want a 15-acre or 20-acre site that services maybe 4 different subdivisions, so we can go to one site and take care of it, and then we move on to the next. This is the most economical. Unfortunately, most of the big developments over time, every time we get close to having a really big development, there'd be a downturn in the economy, and then it would get all broke apart, and we'd get one quarter of it or 1/3 of it at a time, and we'd have to kind of plan like, well, we need the park here because then we're going to sandwich these other places here, and then going after the state grant money. That really turned the tide years ago because the board took the money and it went into the golf course and overruns at the golf course, and we weren't building parks. So how we got out of that hole is that we went after matching grants and started building parks, and we've never stopped because we were good at it.
Well, you serve roughly 40-some thousand people, right? And because we're 30,000, you got the unincorporated areas. So
yeah, we're about 58 now.
Oh, you're up to 58,000 people. And you've got 41 parks.
Yeah.
And some of them that you've built lately, I mean, with pickleball courts, and then you've got splash pads, and you've got the rowboats over at Hibernia. I mean, you've really got, they're not just slides and swings like it used to be. I mean, you've got some great equipment and some great amenities out there.
In order to basically stay current with the grants, you have to show the state that you're putting in some amenity that you have nowhere in the district. Mm-hmm. So we always had to reinvent ourselves and say, okay, we're going to put pickleball here, and there's standards. So how many pickleball courts should you have in a community, and everything? And we've been very fortunate to do that. Actually, our maintenance program is so good that we've actually, Hibernia and now Sharon's Bay with Bluestone have aged out as far as the state grant program. So they were still workable park sites where the equipment was good. It was safe. It was good. It was older. But as far as they go, the 20-year cycle, we actually got full credit for putting in new equipment. And that's unheard of, you know. So we've been very fortunate with that, but 41 park sites. So we're doing a good job with that.
Yes, you are.
So we've identified the big ticket stuff that we don't have and that the community's going to need in the future. Now we got to find out how to do it, how to get those.
And you've really done a great job.
So,
well, we talk about social media. Leah, what are some of the things that you see on social media that just are so wrong, it's just bad information as it relates to the parks?
One, the village does not own the park district. We are separate. We do stress the partnership because we work so well with each other. Everyone thinks everything that we do is under the village. So that,
well, we only claim ownership when it's something good.
Of course.
When crap goes wrong, we're like, that's a park district.
Of course.
Those pickleball courts and splash pads were built by the village, of course, because we owned you then. But go ahead.
But they still talk about, the golf course, and that was in 1994. But if you go to our website, I mean, like Greg said, we are financially sound. I mean, we win awards for our finances. Our parks, I mean, our maintenance guys, they do such a great job. The one thing that irks me is when people post stuff that they're damaging our park on social media, but they don't call us. So call us. You know, our guys work so hard. You know, the dirt bikes, everyone thinks, oh, that's no big deal. But then, you know what? You're going to Walker Park where flag football is at. You're leaving ruts. Well, now the kids have to play on that. They're going to, roll an ankle. So those things, again, just call the Park District. The more information we can get ahead of it. Call the police. Please call the police when you see someone damaging our parks. Well, I mean, our parks are up to $1.3 million. It's a lot of equipment for parks.
Yeah, that's a lot to spend on a park.
And then
if you taxpayer money and grant money,
yeah. But the thing too, we talked about the incorporation of the Park District. About 2 years after it was incorporated or close to it, the village and the Park District signed an ordinance. So the New Lenox Police Department is your park police department. Right. So the priority is going to be life and death, and they're but when you call, that's our security for. I mean, you're doing the right thing by calling them, because that's what we're going to do. So please call the police.
Do you want us to deputize Leah so she can go out there and be the police as well?
I would really like that.
I bet you would. You'd be out there cracking skulls like it was the 60s.
Southside Chicago.
Can't do that anymore. Not that I ever did in my career, but yeah, you can't do that. Yeah, it gets tough when you see that stuff on social media, and it can be disheartening for staff and whatnot too, because they work so hard and they hate to see that kind of stuff out there.
And then, like I said, we're not perfect. We know there's going to be things that happen, but again, instead of blasting us on social media, just call. Let us know what you're complaining about. We will try and fix it. There's going to be sometimes that we're not going to fix it because we may think you're wrong, but we'll do our best. We are always there to listen.
And sometimes you can't.
Yes,
I mean, like
exactly.
you said, you're working within some of those constraints as well.
Yeah.
Well, again, I want to thank you both and your incredible staff. Whether it's the young kids, whether it's the volunteer starters, whether it's, it doesn't matter who it is. You've got so many great people that are working for you in your offices.
Especially our board members.
Your board does a really, really nice job there, and another thankless job. They're not paid for that. They really do a good job.
Kudos go back to the village, because that's one thing, about this whole process. Well, there was a lot of workload getting through everything, but we really got to see what Kurt and Robin and Will and Kim and everybody else goes through. And, because our areas of expertise are similar, but they're different. So there's a more of appreciation now than ever of what we all do, I think. So that can't be a bad thing. That's a great thing.
What are you also referring to the fact that they have to work for me and that's not easy, or what? You're not suggesting
I believe
that.
they told me that I volunteered for it. I said, I don't think I volunteered.
Yeah, yes, you did. We had a conversation. I said, Greg, I got this idea. I want to build a sports complex, but I need you. And you said, okay, I won't retire. I'll stay with you. And we have a deal, right?
Yeah, we have a deal.
As long as I stay, you stay.
Yeah. Yes.
All right.
Yeah, and that was the quickest ride to Rantoul, Illinois, in the back of my life.
Oh, yeah?
And Olga was loving every minute of it. You were loving it, and I was terrified.
Yes. No, we kept you safe, buddy. We need you in this town. We need both of you. You really, we're very, very fortunate. Again, I've seen it as a volunteer coach. I've seen it as a parent and a grandparent, the programs that my kids have been in. I was at a couple of my granddaughters' graduations from over there, just the cutest thing. And of course, as the mayor, I see firsthand what you're doing every day. And we are so fortunate in this town to have the New Lenox Park District. You guys are amazing.
The Commons, first year with the Commons and the ice skating was a hallmark moment when we had the snowstorm. And I'm like, I can't believe this guy's got a horseshoe.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to keep, we're not done yet. We're not done. Anytime I walk in the room, everyone's like, all right, what is this going to be next? There'll be some crazy project. But thank you again, and especially with the sports complex as we move forward. You guys are managing to do your job, taking care of your people in your park district, and still committing a bunch of time to the village and what we're doing, and it's invaluable. So thank you both. Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Appreciate you both for being here.
I got through it.
Look, you got through it. Look at her.
I'm a pro now.
You didn't see when you were on one of your long ramblings there. She whispered to me, "If you need a co-host, I'll do it on a regular basis."
I
She's
bet
ready
she
to
did.
go.
Yeah, can't wait.
All right. Well, we want to thank you both. Want to thank all of you for tuning in to this edition of Too Honest for Social Media.